Hey, what's happening? I'm Scott. This is Motivated by Mountains, and today we are going to wash some down. Okay, so I recently picked up a used quilt off of eBay. I picked up the Thermarest Vesper 32-degree quilt, and quilt showed up at my house. Great condition, but I realized right away that the down definitely did not seem to have the loft that it should, especially for 900 fill, and I felt like it probably could use a wash. So I decided to not only wash the quilt, but wash a couple of down jackets that I have that probably haven't been cleaned in, I don't know, a couple of seasons. So what I want to do is just share some of the things that I used in order to wash and dry the quilts, as well as a couple of things that kind of tips, I guess, things that I thought of before, during, and after washing these pieces of gear that I think would have made it much, much smoother, faster, and just overall a whole lot easier to get these things clean. Okay, so I used Nikwax products. I used the Down Wash Direct to wash the quilt and the jackets, and I used the Down Proof to treat the down to resist moisture and water. I was pretty happy with those products. They weren't too terribly expensive. I ordered them off of Amazon, and they seem to work pretty well. So I'm just going to jump right into the things that I feel like are important and going to make this go a whole lot smoother for you. Number one, and probably the most important thing that you need to remember, obviously down traps air. That's how it works and keeps you warm. And it does not want to submerge, and it does not want to get wet. So if I would have thought about it in advance, I should have compressed all that down, smushed it down, got as much air out as possible, and then put it into the water, and that would have saved me so much headache. Number two, use a cooler or a Rubbermaid bin that is deeper and in a smaller space. I think that makes it easier for you to control everything as you're trying to get it underneath the water. I've washed quilts before in a bathtub, and because it's such a larger area, it's really hard to get everything to go under the water and to get all that air out of everything. It really tries to get away from you. Number three, wear gloves. I unfortunately did not read the directions well enough on the down wash, and I did not realize that for both products I was supposed to be wearing gloves. And my hands are fine, but make sure you do that, because I did notice, especially after using the waterproofing, my hands did feel a little weird, kind of dry and just not so great. So wear gloves. Number four, make sure to use the slow spin cycle on your washer and use it multiple times so that you can try and get as much water out of that gear as possible before you move it into your dryer. So just slow spin, do it again, do it again, do it again. Use that machine to make things a little bit faster. Number five, use tennis balls. Absolutely. It's going to make a lot of noise. It's going to sound like it's tearing your dryer apart. To throw a good 3, maybe even 4 tennis balls inside the dryer with your gear, and what that's going to do is it's going to bounce around, and they're going to hit all those clumps of down that are wet and compressed, and it's going to help to break them apart, and it's going to speed up the process a whole lot. Number six, after you do maybe an hour in the dryer, pull everything out and take a look at the down. You're going to see there's going to be clumps everywhere where it's holding in that moisture. So you need to kind of take the fabric and pull those clumps apart, try and separate it a little bit, and that'll help it to dry much faster. So maybe go for an hour, mess with that down, kind of move it around, try and break up the clumps. I know the tennis balls help, but you're still going to have to probably do some of that yourself, and then just keep going and going. All right, number seven, be patient. It takes a really long time for the stuff to dry out in the dryer. You have to use low heat, or even sometimes no heat at all, just like an air fluff, and it takes hours and hours, and you're gonna think, man, something's wrong. Why is my down not puffing back up? Why is the loft gone? And it will get there. Just remember, it takes a long time. All right, number 8, use light. So once you get things dried out and you feel like everything is pretty much good to go, what I like to do is I will take the jacket or a quilt or whatever it is and hold it up to either a window, a bright window, or even like a light overhead. And that way you can see the down coming through the jacket. You can see where the clumps are. If you need to shift some of the down, a lot of times after you wash something like this, you are going to have to move some of that down around in the baffles, and using a light makes that so much easier. All right, so those are all the things that I came up with that I thought about would make things a lot easier, and things that I realized while I was washing and drying all of that gear. So now I want to tell you about another option. That option is to not do it at all. I don't mean don't clean your down. I mean physically don't do it yourself. There actually is a company called Rainy Pass that will wash down sleeping bags. They will wash rain jackets, and they will do light repairs on your sleeping bag or quilt. They will even assess how much down is in your bag and make recommendations as to whether or not you should add some down or replace some of that fill that may have come out over the years. Okay, that's it. All my down gear is clean. That's my thoughts, a few things that might help you out. If you found this information helpful, please hit the like button down below. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. I will have another video coming out soon. Once again, I'm Scott. This is Motivated by Mountains. I'll see you again soon.